Ladies and gentlemen, the Los Angeles Clippers. This is a big one because this is one of those teams where they are significantly better than they were 12 months ago. They have added really good depth onto their basketball team. Not only are they depth, they are experienced, they're veterans, they know how to win. Maybe other than Chris Paul, not hating on Chris. Let me get that clear, I'm not hating on Chris Paul. He just hasn't won a championship yet. Although in saying that, he's made it to a finals and Bradley Beal hasn't. So let's forget I even said that. I'm going to cut that out of the video. I'm not actually, because I'm not doing that. But Chris Paul, Brook Lopez, Bradley Beal is teaming up with James Harden, Ivica Zubac, Kawhi Leonard, Bojan Bogdanovic. There's so much experience on the roster. The Clippers have had a really, really good offseason. They've pulled experienced veterans in for honestly not a lot of money. Bradley Beal, I think they only gave like $15 million to a year for, I think it was $15 million for 2 years or something like that. And Chris Paul basically signed a vet minimum. I guess that's sort of the services that Chris Paul's up to these days. I know that Chris Paul wanted to go home back to his family in Los Angeles, so sort of makes sense. Chris Paul's already made a hell of a lot of money in his career to the point where he can afford to just go back to LA and just provide services to where he needs to and go home and enjoy his family time with his kids. Because that's basically all Chris Paul is doing now. Obviously, there's a lot of rumors. Chris Paul has said that more than likely this might be his last season in the NBA, which is quite upsetting, to be completely honest. And if LeBron James outlasts Chris Paul, I will be very surprised. Obviously, they're playing like two different people. Like, LeBron James is still playing like an athletic freak of nature, and Chris Paul just passes the ball. It's a lot easier to do one thing compared to the other, but for some reason, LeBron James just does not care about father time. I don't know. I don't get it. But Chris Paul probably only got 1 year left. Bradley Beal is starting to age. He's like in his 30s. Brook Lopez is in his 30s. James Harden, Kawhi Leonard. These are all old guys. This is a team that is going for it right now because they have a couple of seasons of this core, maximum. Bradley Beal plays out his contract. Who knows what happens after that? Bradley Beal, for me, is now going to turn into one of those players, one of those all-star caliber players that will just go roster to roster. It's just going to happen like that because that's how the NBA is nowadays. That's how the league is viewed. Everyone just goes everywhere. It's a business. No one's untouchable. Luka Doncic got traded. Everyone can be traded. Chris Paul's done at the end of the year. Kawhi Leonard's got a couple of years left maybe, depending on his injuries and how he stays fit and all of those sorts of things. James Harden's sort of at the back end of his career. I think there is a world where James Harden plays out his career as a Clipper because he probably only has a few years left. I think he's like 35, I'm going to guess, 35, 34, something like that. He will make an impact to this roster still. He had a really, really good year last year. Probably the best year he's had since he left the Rockets. His Brooklyn years were average. Obviously didn't work in the system. Honestly, I don't even count the 76er days because I don't even know what to say about James Harden on the 76ers, to be completely honest. So yeah, he's bringing it back and he's turning the clock back a little bit, becoming the James Harden of old, but he's becoming more of a facilitator. And on a team with Chris Paul and on a team with Bradley Beal, you will have to be a facilitator as well. He will be obviously the secondary facilitator because Chris Paul will take the main reins of doing that sort of stuff. But there will also be moments where Chris Paul says, all right, James, take the ball. go for a Cook session. That's probably how the offense is going to work. I don't know for sure, but that's what I think is going to happen. Ivica Zubac, keeping him around as much as you can and as for long as you can is what you want on your roster. Bringing in Brook Lopez. Brook is going to be a hell of a mentor as when it comes to defensively for Ivica Zubac. Because Ivica Zubac on the offensive side of the ball is getting so good at those short push shots, your 8-foot close shots. He's really good around the ring. Defensively, rebounding. I mean, he averaged like double-digit rebounds last season, so you can't really say he can't rebound the ball because he's one of the best rebounders in the league. So getting Brook Lopez on that roster, who is not only a shooting threat, don't know if we're going to see Ivica shoot the ball anytime soon, but you can only hope as a Clipper and as a basketball fan that Ivica does actually develop some sort of jump shot. And Brook would be the guy to do that for you. And defensively also. Defensively, Brook Lopez, Defensive Player of the Year, candidate. I forgot whether he actually won the award a couple of years ago, but he was a top candidate. Blocks shots, knows how to block shots with the best of them. That mentorship for Ivica will change his career. In my personal opinion, I think it is a really good move for the Clippers organization. Brook probably comes off the bench in realistic situations because I think the Clippers should be really comfortable with Ivica as their starting center. And I also do not see a world where you have both Brook Lopez and Ivica Zubac on the same court. Because there's a lot of rim deterrence there, but there's not a lot of speed and agility. That's basically all it is. Like, that's what makes the most sense to me. But we will see what happens. The Clippers have had a really good offseason. They haven't really lost a lot of guys either, which is the biggest thing. Like, a lot of the times when you bring new guys in over the offseason, you lose guys at the same time. The Clippers really have not lost anyone. And most of all, they've still got like smaller contract guys, like your Chris Duns, who Chris Dunn actually had a really good year for them last season. He's a good rotational piece off the bench. He's a defensive menace at the guard spot. He can give you, streaks of shooting. It's not obviously the most pretty thing ever, but they can give you streaks of, shooting the ball at a 35% sort of three-point clip. It's going to be interesting for the Clippers. My realistic sort of roof for the Clippers, I mean, they're a contender. I don't think there's any other way around that. Because they have a lot of experience, they have a lot of depth, they have a lot of different guys who are good at a lot of different things. I just don't see really an argument at the moment where the Clippers aren't contenders. So, I'm just, They're contenders. Obviously, Thunder are contenders. Houston are contenders. Don't know what's going on for the Nuggets, but obviously the Nuggets are sort of going to be there. It's just like, it's insane to me how many good teams there are out west. And then you go out east, and you've got the Bucks, the Knicks. Like, it's the East's really weird. Like, the East never actually gets the same traction as a lot of other organizations and conferences. The West has always been the better conference for the longest time in the Basketball Association. The West has had the better rosters, and it is no different this year. It is really heavily favorited this year. That the West is the better conference by a long mile. That's no arguments. But yeah, that's basically it. The Clippers, they're an easy one to go over because, as I said, they have not lost a lot of guys and they've just brought guys in. They brought Bradley Beal in, who's a pure scorer, And, you know, as a great Bradley Beal once said, ain't none of your motherfuckers can guard me. So apparently, if that's even 60% true for the Clippers, that will be a huge thing for them. Chris Paul, we know what Chris Paul is going to do on the basketball court. Brook Lopez, defensively, offensively, he's just going to spread the floor, play that defense that you need him to do, and it's going to be good for them. That's basically all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, Clippers fans, and any other fans who are just a fan of the channel. I'm not pushing away any fans of the channel. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I will be back very shortly with... I'm doing them in alphabetical order, so I forget completely what I'm doing next, but I think it may be the Grizzlies. Which the Grizzlies, I mean, there's been a couple of little things, but not a lot. So we'll touch on the Grizzlies next time. I will see you guys then. Thank you guys so much for watching, liking, subscribing if you can. That would mean so much to me. I would appreciate it more than you'll ever know. Thank you guys. I will see you guys then. Bye.